Howdy folks, welcome to another Tumblr user video. Today we have One Time I Dreamt. This was one of the most requested Tumblr user videos, so I was happy that I was finally able to get it out and give it to you all. If you enjoy the video, please feel free to drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Trump took down Tumblr and somehow convinced all the other world leaders to do the same. So obviously all of us took our pitchforks and torches to US of America and attacked him. Potterheads, grab your wands. I was cleaning the kitchen, or at least I was trying to. Every now and then my body would twist and not like silly putty, and I'd have to focus on untwisting myself. I always sing and stuff when I do the dishes, so me doing that coupled with the twisting was weird. At some point the guy from the Wiggly Cat video was sat on the couch laughing at me. He asked me, "What the hell are you doing, man?" I was playing my drum set and my sticks blew up in my hand. My hand started melting onto the ground and the pool of hands on the ground turned into a weird swelling portal. A demon cat deer hybrid emerged and whispered at me, "The things you create are not of your own experience, but a collage of horrors you have only imagined."
The things you create are not of your own experience, but a collage of horrors you have only imagined.
It then jumped at me and ripped my face off. I was in school and the final lesson was cancelled due to our teacher being sick. None of us knew what to do and we all wanted to go home, but another teacher invited us to his physics lesson and we attended it. I don't know how long that lesson was, but afterwards it was already night and I went home. On my way I had to choose between a brightly lit street or a path through a forest. I took the path through the forest. I was with my friends, trying to draw symbols in a cave so that people knew it was dangerous. Something about aliens. Someone went in the cave anyway. The dream transitioned into a video game, and I was trying to explore the cave. As the person who entered, without dying, I succeeded and the game changed into a Terraria Minecraft Hollow Knight mix. I continued playing, then I realized it was 4 AM, so I went to sleep. Phoebe from Friends wasn't supernatural, but she didn't do anything but be in the background of every scene and comment on what was happening. I've met this 5-year-old child. I had an urge to protect it. Apparently some people were actually trying to kill or kidnap the child. Later it turned out this child was actually 5-year-old me. I dreamed I was college classmates with Admin T. I recognized her from Tumblr and shyly approached her and introduced myself. She was really nice and sweet and we got to talking, and I don't know what I said, but I offended her somehow and she stormed off, and I spent the rest of the dream trying to find her and apologize. I never found her. My eyeball somehow fell backwards through my eye socket into my mouth, and I realized I could roll it back up from my socket to my mouth repeatedly. I kept doing this out of stupidity, and then I accidentally swallowed it. My girlfriend kept eating coconuts. They were making her sick, but she wouldn't stop. We were grocery shopping and her cart was heaped over with coconuts. I begged her to stop eating them. She said she would, but only on one condition. She knelt down and proposed, and I cried because I was a ghost and ghosts couldn't get married. Animal Crossing players wanted corn and New Horizons. They wanted corn so badly that they started a virtual war to get corn. This war was known as the Corn War. I was in a school of some sort, where they taught us about warfare. I was learning about sword fighting. They taught me everything about it, including stances, defense and offense techniques, disarming your opponent. Also someone showed me how they coated blades of the katanas with a poison of some sort to inflict a fatal cut. I had to pass an exam then to officially become a warrior. I was being held hostage by a Roblo. I tried to run away, but we were on a ranch with a lot of land, but somehow I managed to make it to the neighbor's backyard where like 4 old people were sitting on a deck sipping tea or something. But as I approached them, Rob was close behind me, so as I broke down in hysterics he reassured them everything was fine with his Roblo charms. The old man on the deck said some mean stuff to me. I was in the plot of the movie yesterday, but it took me a week to actually figure out the Beatles weren't real, because every time I mentioned them, my sister was saying she didn't know who they were and I kept thinking she was just lying. I only figured out because I referenced that post about a dog in a trench coat and no one got it. In Australia, to get married you had to have the marriage blessed first. To get your marriage blessed you had to win 100 ping pong matches. You had to finish them all in one session. If you left halfway through you had to start all over when you came back. I was watching a documentary about Jackie O's assassination and it was in a stadium, May 1974. It was packed. Thousands of people were there and she started singing "Happy Birthday Mr. President" in a Shrek-y voice. She was wearing the iconic pink channel getup. Then bam bam she was shot at, and almost instantly the stadium was empty. There were 2 shooters and they were caught shortly after, but the cops later found bags of money with clothes and stuff in the stadium for the shooters. My friend and I inherited a mansion from a random old dude. We were given that tour by a real estate agent and they seemed unaware of the bathtub that was in the middle of a hallway and ignored all the holes in the walls and secret passages. There was a library full of animated kids movies from the early 2000s and an entire shelf devoted to Blu-ray copies of Shrek movies.
Oh, hello there!
My friend and I wore white Victorian dresses and ran through the halls, and then laid down on the grass in the backyard and got yelled at by a trespassing Karen.
What the fuck is wrong with everyone?
I got attacked by a mountain lion but killed it with my truck keys. I do not own a truck. And then I got famous because news channels started covering the story, and then the car company of the keys I killed the cougar with were impressed when they heard what I did. So I got a couple of free vehicles from them. I went on this talk show with Jennifer Lawrence interviewing me and she asked, "Are you scared to go into the mountains now?" And I just looked at the camera and was like, "No, I'm about." I then held up the car keys to all of my new vehicles and said, "I've got new weapons. Cougars don't stand a chance." Minecraft had a game mode which changed absolutely nothing about the game whatsoever except that the character you played as was officially gay. People love to lie. I googled this crap and nothing came up. How surprising. OP is telling the truth, Draknath. There is a Minecraft game mode and I'm playing it right now. I had a nightmare that in some parts of the world they put their toothpaste in buckets. Croatia TW Croatia. These are the funniest tags I've ever seen on a post in my life and shfba. The entire world lived with me and everyone had an obsession with the Beatles. But when Christmas season came the reindeers made a revolution because Santa was abusive and expected them to work hours without a break, banishing Christmas from the world, resulting on most of us falling into deep depression because we wouldn't be able to see the Beatles Christmas special.
Krusty Krab is unfair! Mr. Krabs is in there! Standing at the concession! Plotting his oppression!
Some random dude wearing a turtleneck sweater put the moon in a jar and then smiled at me cheerfully while he walked away. Despicable Me, 2010. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was one of the cashiers at the grocery store I was a regular at. One day he said that there were new chocolate bars that I should try. I bought one of every flavor and he was so happy that he said he wanted to show me something good. He took me to a room where there was smaller workout equipment. Then he did the 8-angle yoga pose. I immediately woke up and I felt so happy and refreshed. I went to the grocery store with my family and found a cereal box filled with loose taco filling. Just a cardboard box of ground beef, beans, cheese, lettuce and tomato. It was exactly what my sisters were looking for and I was the only one who was concerned about the fact that the box was already open. I drove a space shuttle to work. It didn't fly or do anything cool. I just slowly drove down the road like a plane taxiing on a runway. I remember parking being an issue when I got there. Me and Jason Voorhees were solving a murder mystery together and the murder weapons were these snails that go inside your butt and drink your blood. We discovered that the lead homicide detective was actually the murderer and he was using a different kind of snail that eats DNA to cover his tracks. I was at school and there was some sort of book we had to read and do an assignment on, but we had to do it in Minecraft. Azula randomly joined Team Avatar in book 2. She then tried to convince Zuko to join and when he refused, she yelled at him and proceeded to tell him that their mother had killed their grandfather. I was waiting for my crush to come meet me and hang out with me, but I had a feeling he wasn't going to come. I was really anxious and sad about it, but Robert Pattinson was there, holding my hand and waiting with me. It was the end of the world due to global warming and I lived in a tall apartment building with my sister and my baby. The streets were filling with what looked like tar and everything was slowly catching on fire. My sister lit a cigarette and then flicked it into another building through an open window, causing that room to catch on fire. I looked for a way to get to safety with my baby and then I woke up. I was the one who came up with skillet cookie pies. I had apparently offered to bake cookies for a friend, but then I thought that transporting them would be too difficult, so I cooked the entire dough in a skillet and then just carried it with me. I was dead and a ghost among the living and no one could see me. My sibling who can talk to ghosts helped me figure out why I had died. At my birthday party someone gave me cyanide and it calmed my ass. The whole dream I was dead. My brother was buying school buses during the whole thing. I got on Yahoo Answers and asked if it was guaranteed that everyone would fight a piece of cheese in the desert at least once in their life. The crab from Club Penguin was trying to kill me. I thought I lost it when I turned the corner and ran into my house, but it still found me and was trying to break open the window with a broom handle. My sister and I were trying to figure out a way to get rid of it and we settled on boiling it, cause you know that's how you cook crabs. Jason Momoa robbed the store where I work at. He didn't take money or anything valuable. All he took was our entire stock of redness reducer eye drops.
I'm a stoner, I'm a stoner, I'm a stoner.
I was reading a Twitter thread where someone had to clarify that it is bad to ship kin and stand serial killers. I woke up gasping and shaking like I'd just had a nightmare. I thought I was awake in real life, but wasn't for this. I looked over at my clock and it said 12 o'clock PM, but the sun wasn't out. I calmly came to the conclusion that the sun had blown up and went to make my morning coffee. I was walking home from school, but it was a long walk and I didn't bring any water with me. Eventually my throat got so dry I started crawling looking for water. I looked up and Diddy was standing there, wearing shades and a cape, and he told me, "Don't forget water is life," and then he disappeared revealing a bodega. I woke up and I was thirsty. I was babysitting my friend's younger cousin. We were having a fun time until I took her to the front yard and asked her, "Do you know what you and I have in common?" She didn't know, so I said, "We both fit inside a dinosaur's mouth." I then threw her into the mouth of a dinosaur that was in the backyard and watched it walk away with her. I was hanging with family and friends and suddenly this guy came up to me carrying a diamond ring and proposed to me. When he said the word marry, I woke up screaming and shaking scared. I owned a coffee table book of various celebrities modeling mannequins, public wigs. Among the models were Robert Downey Jr. and Tilda Swinton. Said public coverings were all a particular shade of mid-blue with a tinge of green but not quite teal, and they were made out of Muppet-like fur. At some stage during the dream, it was revealed that the book had been commissioned by Charlie Chaplin, who was secretly still alive. My mom wrapped up my diary as a high school graduation present, but all my spelling mistakes were corrected in red ink and she gave me a D+ on it. My sister, who I haven't seen in years, was there and I couldn't get her face quite right. It kept morphing into others or nothing. She kept trying to speak to me, but the more she tried, the more garbled it came out. It was like trying to find a station on the radio but all you get is static or very faint voices. I was upset, then angry. I woke up feeling more tired than usual. One of my Tumblr mutuals, who I recognized from pictures I've seen of her, walked into the clothing store I work at. I'm pretty sure she doesn't like me, so I kept trying to hide from her the whole time she was there, not realizing she doesn't know what I look like. COVID was over and I was hinting at the members of my old D&D group that we could get our game started up again, but the hints kept going over their heads. I was in some sort of office, and a man that looked like the bald dude in Scene Thought, but taller, was in front of me and I told him I'd hypnotize him for therapy. I held up a book and read from it. Really read from it. The words made sense and looked normal, and I indeed hypnotized him. Austin Powers came over to fix my family's roof, but he got too cocky with his power and started bashing our walls in with a giant hammer. I was in a city and I wanted to go shopping, but instead of going straight to the shopping center I took a longer route. On my way I met two girls around my age, and since we got along pretty well we exchanged numbers so we could stay in touch. I saw my other friends who invited me to come with them and I followed them into the underground station. It felt like a damn parallel universe. My friends and I infiltrated the Temps Commission from the Umbrella Academy and we did the most stupid thing ever. We split up. At the end we were discovered and we had to flee. Also at the end, a stormtrooper joined us and fled with us. One of my students, I work at a school IRL, went missing and they ended up finding his body buried in Nicki Minaj's backyard. I was at a press conference sobbing uncontrollably, grieving for this poor kid and his family but also in disbelief that Nicki would do such a terrible thing. British comedian James Acaster broke into my car at like 3 AM. When I found him, he was sat in the backseat calmly eating a whole roasted chicken. Faye Webster was walking down my street singing songs, only Faye didn't really look like herself, and I turned to my brother and said, "Wow, she's really not that pretty in person, is she?" My dad became a pilot and my siblings and I were chosen to test planes' escape pods and we flew up by ourselves, ejected and then parachuted down, and the dream was really good at simulating the fear of heights and falling during the process. Everything was the same except my school was an art school named Pinger School of Art and Musical Chairs. I do not go to an art school. I was on a dirt road and the season kept shifting between winter and summer. It didn't really bother me. As I was walking, a group of people ran in front of me, chasing a young deer with sticks and rocks. I managed to convince the people to go away, leaving the deer unharmed. But when I turned to it, it just looked at me disapprovingly. It told me something, which I forgot upon waking up. There was a zombie apocalypse but instead of the zombies wanting to eat the normal people they only wanted to eat the ones that had just been bitten, and if you survived long enough without the other zombies eating you then you forgot how to speak your native language. I was a TV show host who interviewed famous people, except I was John Cena's mind in The Rock's body.
Thank you all so much for watching another Tumblr user video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I hope that you all enjoyed One Time I Dreamt. I know that I enjoyed putting it together and reading the posts. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. We broke 2,400 subs last night, which is awesome. I really appreciate everyone subscribing. I really appreciate everyone watching. This is, we're really growing in size and I really appreciate all the support I'm getting. Let's see, so we'll have the Q&A video coming out next week. We'll have I know that one of the Tumblr users is going to be Biggest Gaudius Patronus, and then I don't know what the second one's going to be, but there will be 2 next week. Other than that, I would say stay tuned. We're going to have Top Tumblr Post 47 coming out in a couple hours. So until then, have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, night, and I will see you all in a couple hours with Top Tumblr Post episode 47. Peace out, guys.